Hi, and welcome back. Today is the last day when we're going to be talking about MainIdea in nonfiction text. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen so that we can get started. As we talked about yesterday, we were talking about MainIdea and using the text features and boxes and bullets strategy. Today, Friday, we're going to check our work to make sure that we were right. In addition, we're going to also write today and creating a MainIdea and an original piece of text. I'm going to model the writing for you before you begin on your own. So to check our work from yesterday, the main idea of the article was that athletes continue to train even though they are at home during the COVID-19 shelter in place. If your sentence does not match mine exactly, that's okay. However, it should be something close to that. Supporting details that are from the article that you read yesterday is that one athlete trains at home on her own without a partner. A swimmer created a lap pool out of a kiddie pool in her yard to keep in swimming shape. And then the third idea is that athletes try to do anything to stay motivated in order to stay in shape. If you have similar ideas to these and your 3 examples and supporting details support your main idea, then you know that you're on the right track. If you were unable to find 3 supporting details, then you knew that you needed to go back to the drawing board, go back to the text, and ask yourself, what is this text mostly about? What do I think the author is trying to say about athletes training at home? Today, we're going to move on and try a writing assignment. Good readers become good writers by practicing and then practicing some more. Today, we're going to practice writing main ideas by focusing on one topic. And today, you have a wealth of opportunity because you have a wealth of topics to choose from. Today, we're going to talk about my blank history. And as you can see on this screen, there are lots of examples here. So my sports history, my family history, music, drawing, school, eating or food history, friendship, TV watching, video gaming, fashion, dancing, neighborhood. You could also do my TikTok history. You could also do my Snapchat history, my Instagram history. But you can do multiple things so that you can talk about the history of your topic. What I would like you to do is to go to your Google Docs and to open a blank document. If you don't have access to Google Docs, then what I would like you to do is to take out a sheet of blank paper. And I'm going to open a new document. And I'm going to title my document, My Exercise History. Now, I will say that I've been thinking about this topic for a little bit. So this might be a little bit easier for me originally or initially because I've put some thought to it before I got started. I'm going to center my title, or I'm going to put my title at the top. So my exercise history. Just as in nonfiction features, the title can help the reader know what the article is going to be mostly about. The title of my writing here will tell the reader what my writing will be mostly about, which is my history with exercise. So when I think about exercise and when I think about how I exercise over the years, I'm much older than you are, but when I first started exercising, I did not like it at all. In fact, I hated it, and I was actually quite miserable at exercising. So I'm going to say that for my first sentence, that my exercise history has moved from a rocky start to a phenomenal finish. This is my topic sentence, or my main idea. This is my topic sentence, which my paragraph is going to be mostly about this entire topic. The topic sentence of paragraphs can also point to the main idea. And I'm going to use this topic sentence to kind of point the reader in the idea that initially I wasn't so good at exercising, but then as I got older, I became better. So at first, whenever I had to exercise, I did so because my parents forced me. Both of my brothers liked running and exercising, but I didn't. My mom and my dad thought I might change my mind if I did it more often, but that wasn't the case. I remember when I was growing up that my dad used to tell me that I had to go for a run around the block, and I would run just until I was out of sight from my house, and then I would stop walking. And then when I knew that I was coming back close to my house again, I started running so it could make it seem like I was running the entire time. And I remember one time my brothers followed me and I didn't realize that they were following me, and they told on me. And my dad yelled at me because he was so frustrated that he was so proud of me because he thought I was running and I was trying really hard. And when in fact I wasn't at all. I was cheating the entire time. So I think I'm going to include that story because it helps illustrate the fact that I wasn't actually very good at exercising. So when I first started running, I only ran until I was out of sight from my home. Then I walked. A lot. I didn't start running again until I got close enough to see my house. One day, my brothers discovered my trick and told on me. My dad was so upset. And I think that illustrates my really rough beginning. But now I want to move on to what my second topic, that I've gotten much better and now I'm a finisher, like I'm a strong finisher. So I think I need to think about how I got to the point where running became easier for me and how I started to enjoy exercise more. I'm not sure if I really want to talk about all of the time that I spent in high school exercising because I really still didn't like exercising in high school. I don't think exercise really changed for me until I got into college and I actually joined ROTC, which was for people who were interested in potentially joining the military. I know it seems crazy hard to believe, but I love being in JROTC. I loved waking up really early in the morning. And I also really loved running, which I used to hate as a kid. So I think I'm going to start by saying, like, and talking about my time in college. I didn't start to enjoy running until I was in college. After I joined our ROTC, I had to wake up early in the morning in order to train, in order to finish. It was called PT at that time, which meant physical training. There were not many people up at 5 a.m. in this small town, but there was enough light around campus for us to run safely there. Mm, I think the reason why I really started running was because it became like something that we did to hang out. So I think I want to add that detail in my writing. And we used to run to a cadence, which is a song that you sing that helps you find your rhythm and the beat of a run. And it makes you take your mind off running. And I think that that was the key that really unlocked running for me. So I need to say something about that I liked running with other people. So other people, and I liked running when my ROTC leader sang a cadence. I often forgot how hard running was when he sang. I forgot how much I disliked running. I forgot that my breathing was labored, which means when my breathing was hard. I forgot that time existed. I got wrapped up in the run. Now, I want you to point out, or I want to point out rather, that you can see that on my example that I have lots of green lines, excuse me, a lot of blue lines, which means that I've made some kind of errors, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because right now I think it's more important that I get my idea down on paper. And now I've transitioned to how I've started to like running, and now I need to finish about how I feel like I have a phenomenal finish. So I'm going to transition to another paragraph. I will say that although that my paragraph in my writing is 3 paragraphs long, yours does not need to be. Yours needs to be as long as it needs to in order to explain your music history, your TikTok history, your video gaming history. And so for some of us, that might mean that we have really short paragraphs. But for others of us, we might need 2 or 3 paragraphs in order to talk about our topic completely. Both of those answers are okay. There is no set limit to what makes writing good. A good piece of writing answers the question and does not leave any questions for the readers after they read the piece. If I wanted to rewrite this piece and try to condense it, I could try to do that, but that's not in my nature. And as a writer, I have found that I like actually using more detail and I like writing more because it helps express who I am as a person. And I find that it makes me feel better when I write. This wasn't always the case, but it is the case now. And if you practice writing, then this might become the case for you as well. So, in order to move on and transition to my last idea that I've gotten to be a phenomenal finisher, I need to talk about my life as an adult. So, I'm going to say something similar like fast forward to my time as an adult. I entered races with friends. I found running groups, running and training groups. And I completed distances I never thought possible. Now I don't think about cheating my runs. If I do, that would mean that I would cheat myself. And I don't want to do that. I have grown to love the feeling I get after a good run, good or bad run, really. I have grown to love the feeling of finishing a race, of finishing a goal. And that feeling has led my exercise journey to a phenomenal finish. So you can see that as I got towards the very end, what I did was I repeated or rephrased the idea that I had at the very beginning. So the very beginning, my first line said, my exercise history has moved from a rocky start to a phenomenal finish. And I repeat that idea down here. So I have grown to love the feeling of finishing a race, of finishing a goal. And that feeling has led my exercise journey to a phenomenal finish. And that idea, that repeating the main idea of repeating my topic sentence helps me reiterate that becomes the main idea. What I would like you to do now is to try practicing writing one of these your own. As I said, it doesn't need to be as long as mine, but the thing is that you actually practice. Once you're finished, if you want to email me your examples, I would love to see them. And you can email them to me on my email at rvaschools.net. And I'll show you that slide in just a minute. I wanted to say thank you for all of your time and attention to this week's work, and you're doing a phenomenal job at home. Thank you so much for taking the time. And then there's the email that if you want to share your writing with me, I would love to read it. It's one of my favorite things to do. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you again in a few weeks. Have a great day.